Righto, boys. What are we today? Thursday. We've got bloody episodes coming out our arse at the moment. We've got a yellow cake special tomorrow with one of the uranium figures around the world dropping for the weekend, and she's a bloody long and insightful chat. So stay tuned, money miners. But today, the infamous name and shame. The bloody companies that just think they can fool the market, boys, by dropping their quarterlies after hours on the last day, but they probably didn't even get thought of till this podcast started last year.
I reckon they're going to start
up with the idea.
The trend is going to be dropping them on the second last day, just to try and avoid name and shame.
Not bad, no, mate. The bloody tell you what. The IGO gift that keeps on giving. We've had some breaking news drop today. We'll just get into it, but it is bloody breaking and far out. Talk about it.
Yeah,
talk about a CEO job that you wouldn't have wanted to have started.
I've been down an investigative journalism rabbit hole, Matty, and I got so far, and then the announcements have come out late. But mate, I figured it out beforehand. I just want to claim that one.
Well, we'll give you a preview. This involves Regis, IGO, BHP, WMC, South 32 and Anglo Gold.
Yeah.
That's now you just wait to hear it. Mate, who isn't involved? Mate, BCI Minerals rattling the tin as well. Not quite the level of interest of the previous story, but still.
Mate, $300 million equity raise is big
amount of money.
Yeah.
Mate, and Resolute's quarterly as well, coming a bit late, and we're going to go through that. Right-o. How you going over in Melbourne, JD? Enjoying it, mate?
Mate, I'm excited to hear the investigative journalism that Trav sort of fell down. He was very eager to film at a certain time, and then an hour and a half later, he's fallen so deep in it. He's like, Jonas, I've got a scoop. We're going to break it. And then lo and behold, IGO pop out with the announcement. But the story is 2 decades in the making.
I was that stuck to the work that I didn't have time to eat today, so I'm eating lunch during the show. So
bloody don't you just sit back and enjoy the ads here, Trav, while you munch down your food, mate. Because then this might be actually a little pivotal play for IGO. Like they might be one of these companies of many that we might see that are going to be a lithranium company. They might pivot out of lithium and head into uranium with what's going on. And, mate, because these lithium shell companies, that's exactly what they might be doing soon. And if they do, hear me out, what do they require to do this? Data analysis?
I know where you're going with this one.
Mineral resources? Soil sampling? Exploration? Core cutting, everything to commence yourself as a now uranium explorer from a previous lithium explorer.
I reckon most of them won't even use that. They will just do Control H, which is fine, and replace shortcut.
And mate, following that replacement, and you need all those services, because I'll tell you what, if Ghostbusters aren't available, who do you call? Anytime exploration services, because mate, I'll tell you, there's no better start or end to the week than seeing Seamus Murphy face to face. Like, tell you what, talk about if you feel a bit down in the doldrums, he will brighten up your day. Maybe send him to the IGO office just to cheer them all up, I reckon, mate. Because, mate, do you know before he came back to Australia?
Yeah.
When we talked about it last week,
from England,
born in Darwin, ended up in Halls Creek, then moved to England.
Wow.
And come back here and he's got no idea why his name is Seamus because he's not Irish.
He spent time in Halls Creek.
He's been everywhere. He's scoured the country and the globe and because after exploring the world and himself, he is now the foundation of Australia's exploration industry. Mate, the full exploration turnkey solution from the field work to the exploration to the geological data analysis to the mineral resource estimate, mate, anytime does anything, it does it all.
There's 2 people that will be remembered in history for the longest period of time in Australian exploration history. One, Paddy Hannon, found gold in Kalgoorlie way back in the day, and Seamus Murphy.
I'd nearly put Seamus Murphy into like Burke and Wills territory, like, mate, and he is that sort of level. I think I feel privileged that this man will probably go down in history, them and Anytime Exploration Services, and I feel honoured to deliver the message to the people about Seamus and Anytime. So, mate, Anytime, get a hold of them for anything exploration. If you're a Lithranium company, get them on board. They'll help you transition nice and easy, I think. Mate, before we get into the name and shame,
Yeah.
there's another name and shame segment that I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to name and shame underground mining operations that don't use DSI for their ground support.
Ooh, have you got a list?
Oh, I'm going to compile one. I reckon I could pretty much just get DSI's list and then get a list of every other mine.
Yeah.
And, mate, eyes are on you. I just can't understand why you do it. Like, why would you take that risk to your operation and not have DSI as your ground support supplier?
Have you worked on a mine where you weren't using DSI?
There was one, I went there and I went to the bolt yard and I saw another brand and I just snatched it.
Yeah.
I just flew out.
You were on edge.
I just didn't
Didn't feel safe.
No, it's not that I didn't feel so. I just didn't feel comfortable because it was more not just, it was a reflection of the business that they weren't using DSI. And yeah, I flew out and I think a couple of people followed me actually. So, mate, if your mine site is like just not using DSI, I would just take a good hard look at yourself.
You're not doing everything you can for culture, that's for damn sure.
Because it will be reflected very favourably in your share price, I think, if you're using DSI. Look at what Adriatic, I think, pretty sure they're in negotiations with DSI for the upgraded ground support. That's a tick in my opinion.
Hello, actually.
Yeah.
So, Matty, are you saying if you want to keep your people... If you want to keep your people happy, you have to use DSI. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think if you want to ensure that you retain all your employees and you just want that really good attrition rate, mate, get DSI ground support. It's as simple as that. I've quit a job before because DSI wasn't there, so don't tempt people.
Feels like a no-brainer.
Mate, unbelievable. As simple as that. Splitties, mesh, cable bolts, GUIs, MDX bolts. There is no other place to go than DSI underground. Love your work, DSI. Thanks for making employees happy. Righto, boys. The other name and shame. Who have we got? Oh, what an illustrious crew.
Yeah, the other name and shame. This won't be as good as the one we've previously, with the one we've just gone through, but it is pretty good nevertheless. So for those new money miners out there, what we're sort of doing here is there's a bunch of companies, they think they can sort of slip away and sort of evade our eyesight by reporting, after 8 or after 7 p.m. Eastern time on the last day of the quarter, and think they can just get away with it. But they're not getting away with it. And we're going to rattle off some of the best ones that we noticed last night. So how about I take it from the top, guys, and we go through them together?
Oh, yeah.
Number
I'm just
one
gonna
is
sit back and enjoy the show.
me and Ricardinho, though. You've just put in a good shift, Matty, so I'll let you have a spell. So number one is Alara Resources. They were the last of all the resource companies. They came in at 8:19 p.m., the worst of the lot. Now, they actually still have $6.5 million, which was pretty surprising, but they've got a interesting little debt position, which I think we best leave untouched for the sake of the company there.
Telgar Group, they came in late. It was 8:18 p.m. I think I saw a photo on Twitter of their MD overseas, so maybe that was the explanation, JD. But still sloppy. Cash position improved this quarter by $4 million after raising $19 million.
No excuses, mate. So the next worst is Matsa Resources. They came in at 8:15 p.m. Now they have a pretty piddly sum of $760,000 left with $5 million in debt. So let's hope that R&D funding they're talking about of about $2 million comes through.
I love this one. Horseshoe Metals, 8:08 p.m. The ultimate shell, this company has $2,000 left, but mate, with a name like Horseshoe, they're going to have to hang that one on the wall the right way around and hope for some luck.
If you hang it the other way around, it'll look like a U, and there'll be a uranium company.
Oh,
so.
you could be onto something.
All right, next up, Golden Deeps, 8:06 p.m. Very sloppy. They wrapped up the quarter with $4.6 million in cash, though, so they'll be all right for another couple of quarters, you'd imagine.
Industrial Metals, 8:08 p.m. finished the quarter with $1.4 million in the bank. Who'd have thought the excitement would be so short-lived?
Scorpion Metals, 8:01 p.m. Now, these guys have $1.6 million left, which sounds manageable, but they've got $1.2 million in debt drawn already, so things are getting a little thin over there.
Australian Gold and Copper Limited, 7:38 p.m. Now these guys raised $10 million in the quarter. They now have 11.5 million in the bank. Pretty hefty for a $14 million company.
Next up is the big FML. That's Focus Minerals.
What a ticker.
I laugh every time I see this one, boys. So they came out at 7:30. They have 1.1 million bucks left, but they lost 5.6 million from operations in the quarter. So we'll have to do something to arrest that trajectory.
Isn't Shandong like a giant shareholder there? Anyway, Group
There
6
is.
Metals, 5:51 p.m. These guys are capped at 70 million bucks end of the quarter with 600k though. Subsequently received a $14 million grant. JD, you had some other insights here.
I did, mate. I was flicking through the 5B, the sort of cash flow statement. Now, bearing in mind what we said, 70 million market cap, they had $66.4 million in debt drawn, a bunch of con notes, some loans from the government, all a bit confusing. But if the money miners peel through that lending list, there might be a name that you'll see again that will leave as a little nugget for some loyal fans to find out in the near future.
Magmatic Resources, 4:40 p.m. Balance is getting low, 842 left in the kitty.
And last but not least, AVZ Minerals, 3:14 p.m. So not the worst of the lot. Cash position is on a one-way road. It's now at $6.3 million. They announced earlier in the day, though, a massive upgrade to the Monono asset, 842 million tonnes at 1.61%.
Jesus Christ.
It's just a behemoth, but needless to say, legal proceedings are still ongoing there.
Mate, ignore all of the spat over the ownership there. Isn't that asset just going to beat a lithium market?
Yeah, God, pretty much. God,
Truly-
just run that in green bushes and you'd be fine.
Wow.
Truly impressive project there. Was sort of see how that progresses. So that's all the companies we've got today, fellas. And I think just one more shout out. You know, maybe these companies start doing what you said, Trav, and start reporting the day before, but just be a bit more punctual. You've got 31 days to get your announcements out. Why leave it until 8 or after 8 p.m. on the final day of the quarter?
Yeah, I also think it's a bad look if any one of those days you chuck it up in the afternoon after market close. I think you want to have it up, lodged with ASX before market opens in the morning one of those days. And signal to the market that you're going to release it on that day ahead of time so the market can expect it that day, because most of you don't do that.
Right. I'm going to flash a picture up, and this is going to be a perfect little segue into the big story that's dropped today. Have a look at this. 4 Spider-Men pointing at each other. It's your royalty. No, it's yours. No, you did that. You did that. Courtesy of Ali GC, that one.
If no one wants a royalty, I'll take it, Matty.
Oh, what is going on here, boys? So we've had Regis went into a trading halt this morning.
They did.
And then IGO came out with an announcement and Regis come out with an announcement as well.
Yeah.
Bloody big story. Take it away, Ricardinho. What is going on here?
I think this could be a huge story. I think it's building into that. So Regis went into halt, like you said, Matty. And, as soon as I saw that, I thought, geez, this could involve IGO, Anglo Gold. BHP was my line of thinking at the time. I didn't quite deduce it would be South 32, but they put out this announcement. They basically said they're in halt, and they were basically trading for the first 45 minutes of market. The stock had fallen 2% at this time, and they go in halt, and they state that they're halting pending an announcement regarding the commencement of proceedings claiming a royalty applies in relation to the Tropicana gold project. Now, at first pass, you think, oh, shit, that's not good news. Some old battler has realised they have an old claim on a tenement at Trop and they want their fair share. But I got thinking about it and, there could be a lot more to it, right? Because, of course, Regis is just one party to the joint venture. So does the claim apply to their other JV partner too, Anglo? And then I thought of another line deeper. So Anglo, they're no longer listed on the ASX. They're on the NYSE. They haven't put anything out yet. And then another layer further, Regis, they only picked up that 30% of Trop not that long ago. The claim must be from something a long time ago, right? So would IGO have any liability as well? How would that work? So I started thinking about it more. Regis purchased their 30% interest in Tropicana from IGO in 2021. You guys remember that?
It was 600. Well, what was it? 630 million or something.
That was the equity raise they did, but it was a $900 million price tag.
900, yeah.
Yeah. And so
Chunky.
IGO, they looked like geniuses at the time. They sold Trop at the top of the gold market because it rallied to in late 2020 there, early 2021. And they were buying green bushes at the bottom of the lithium market. So, when you sell an asset in M&A though, there's a bunch of terms and conditions and there's representations and warranties. And as a seller of an asset, you provide an assurance that all the material information about the asset is here for you. And this is all I know to the best of my knowledge. It's pretty standard kind of stuff. The reason I bring this up is because my first thought was, what if IGO and Regis, what if there's an indemnity surrounding who would have liability in the case that a claim relating to this royalty resurfaced? And I thought, crap, this could be bad for IGO too. And at this point in time, IGO was still trading. They hadn't put anything out to market, nothing, no halt or anything like that. And I'm like on a mission. I'm like, got to dig through everything now, figure out what is this royalty? What could it be? So then I couldn't help myself with the hypotheticals. I went to the old IGO documents. I tried to go back on ASX as far as you could go to look at their old historical announcements. And the history of Tropicana matters here because IGO IPO'd in early 2002 as Independence Group NL. Sorry, Independence Gold. They later became Independence Group. They were Independence Gold. Very shortly after listing, on the 31st of January that year, Independence Gold announced a JV with Anglo where Anglo could earn up to 70% in the Tropicana joint venture by spending $2 million in the ground. And here's where things get pretty damn interesting. Stay with me. In May 2002, Independence Gold put out an announcement titled South Star JV Database. Look at the spelling of database there. It's database. So old, we don't even spell database the right way. But the crux of the announcement is that WMC Resources has granted a 2-year extension to IGO to use its database of assays. So I'm going to read this quote.
So WMC was Western Mining for the punters.
Of course. The mighty BHP these days.
Yeah, so BHP bought Western Mining. Yeah.
Exactly right. This is, you can see in this paragraph that I've highlighted here, talking about this database of assays of WMCs. It includes in excess of 282,000 individual assay results from 68 different elements and compounds. And it's basically a database comprising 24,000 samples collected by WMC's Diamond division during its Australian diamond search of remote and many underexplored areas of WA. But I think that diamond exploration, there wasn't much follow-up, but they had this database, and lucky Independence Gold got the rights to use it for exploration purposes in that JV. So here's what really caught my attention, right? It's the last paragraph of this announcement that we need to digest. The use of the information from this database by Independence Gold NL has already given rise to joint ventures with Anglo Gold Australia Limited, Tropicana East joint venture. So there you go. It's like, I read that and it looks very much to me like the data in the database, informed the joint venture with Anglo, and hence they thought there was some prospectivity in that area, and Anglo put some money to work by doing some exploration, and then they found Tropicana. So, all right, we all follow so far. And in my research of old IGO announcements, I stumbled across this in the 2005 annual report. I'm going to read this highlighted section here under the heading WMC Diamond Division Database. Independence has 100% equity in metal projects generated from an extensive geochemical and mineralogical database comprising over 24,000 samples collected by WMC using proprietary sampling, processing and analytical techniques between 1979 and 1997. And then I've highlighted towards the bottom of that, WMC is entitled to a 1.5% gross royalty from any discoveries directly generated from the database. In Independence's disclosures themselves, they quote that. So that was 2005, right?
Yeah.
And it was February of that same year. So, that annual report, you put the annual report out in about August-ish. But in February earlier that year, you actually had the Tropicana discovery holes, but it wasn't like one of those discovery holes where you've got a bloody mine straight away. It didn't work like that. The very first, hits to come to market, there were nothing special. There were no superlatives. It was like 14 metres grading 2.2 grams per tonne, and there's plenty of cover on top of that. So you're not really convinced that there's anything economic yet. So that, and you can see, look at the first cross sections there. It's pretty interesting, right?
Oh, dude, before the days of VRIFY. Bloody hell, in colour.
That was about 4 months before the annual report blurb. It wasn't until January the following year, so about 5 months after that annual report, that Tropicana looked like it could be something special. The strike length of Tropicana prospect had been defined at 1.1 kilometres, open to the southwest, with holes returning 32 metres grading 6.6, 9 metres grading 6.3, and 24 metres grading 2.8. So you can see, it took a while for it to be pretty obvious that it's quite meaningful. And IGO free carried 30% to the PFS thanks to that JV with Anglo. Now, would you believe me if I said I'd done all of this investigative work, I'd figured out the royalty, I'd written all this up, and then at 11:45 a.m. Perth time, IGO released a statement too, and they confirmed my suspicion.
Oh, they're fucking with you, I reckon. We'll show this prick.
There it is, right? So, they basically say they've received a writ from South 32. So I got this bit wrong. Clearly the royalty portfolio ended up in South 32's hands when BHP and demerged South 32. So South 32 ended up with
They took your Cannington and the aluminium and then
big
royalty portfolio as well.
Yeah. And South 32 are the ones that issued IGO with a writ, not Regis, but they issued IGO with a writ stating that that they estimate that IGO is required to pay 122 million bucks Aussie, excluding interest and cost.
Geez, imagine the bloody interest for the last, if you compound that over 10 years.
Yeah, it's a lot, mate.
That'd be huge.
It's a lot. It's a lot, right? And that's from the period of December 2014 until 30th of December 2023. So what a bloody twist, right? Firstly, IGO, they refute actually having liability here. They're adamant that there's nothing payable. It's all immaterial. They don't even go in trading halt, by the way. They just drop this to market late in the afternoon. No trading halt. I don't even know if it wasn't even marked as market sensitive, was it?
Oh, don't know.
Yeah, but the stock fell 5%. So,
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. So they're pretty adamant. They're denying that they've got any liability here. They basically say IGO rejects South 32's allegations and considers the claim to be without merit. And then there's this one. IGO denies that it has any liability to South 32. IGO has thoroughly reviewed its obligations under the relevant agreements and maintains that the preconditions to the entitlement to be paid the sample royalty have not been satisfied. IGO has instructed lawyers to act on its behalf and intends to fully and vigorously defend the claim.
And they also say at the bottom that the sale of their stake to Regis includes a provision which I guess maintains IGO's liability. It's saying that they're liable prior to that sale, but then Regis have indemnified IGO from that point onwards.
And that's the point, right? So like if they're so sure that they've got no liability under the royalty, then why was it clearly a topic of diligence in the sale process for Tropicana? And because I'll read out that sentence, right? They go,
because they're saying that the Regis portion, they said in the announcement here, is estimated between 35 to 40 million, which is the royalty, because obviously it's ramped up and grown. So 35 to 40 million of it is from when Regis owned it. So we're saying 30. So if you go by time, IGO are liable for 2/3 of it, and Regis are liable for the other third.
So that's the point, right? Like if they were so sure that the preconditions have not been met, like why was it clearly a topic of diligence in that sale process of Tropicana? They state that it includes the provision which maintains IGO's liability, exactly like you said. And so clearly they're doing the sale process for Tropicana. Regis identifies this royalty or they've done their work and they're like, this is an item of diligence, we're going to flag this. And they've included in the sale documentations, at Regis's request, I'm sure, Regis indemnified IGO for any claim arising from production post the transaction completion date. However, IGO maintains liability prior to it. So what happens from here is going to be bloody interesting, right? But But I'll draw your attention to the Independence Gold Prospectus when they went to list, and they outline the South Star JV here, which articulates all of the elements of the royalty. The legal nerds.
Good job finding that, because far out we were searching Google for a while.
I'll tell you my source later. The legal nerds can peel over it and deduce what they want from the information. The series of announcements I revealed previously would indicate to me that the JV with Anglo was formed thanks to the database. Whether or not that then flows through to actually having to pay the royalty, I can't tie that link. But it was admitted publicly in that announcement in May 2002. The use of this information from the database by Independence Gold NL has already given rise to joint ventures with Anglo Gold Australia Limited. I'm not a lawyer, and I've done a few hours of research with publicly available information, but I'll let the lawyers pry into the weeds on this one. And I hope there's a resolution faster than other WA royalty litigation. But fuck, I'd hate to be anyone at IGO.
Get in touch, Mr. Spectre, if you're listening. But the question I have, why now? Why are South 32 pursuing this now?
That's a very
Matty, you took the words out of my mouth, mate. That's exactly what I'm thinking as well.
Are they trying to kick IGO while they're down and then possibly to make a play at them or something? Because South 32 are a bloody big company. I know it's come out of BHP, but are they looking to get into lithium?
I think that would be an unlikely probability, but it is.
It'd be cool.
It's a wicked question to ask why now. I'd love to know the answer. It could just be. It could just be something that someone finally clued onto existed, and there might be a claim there. And heck, maybe some grad got put on the job and dished it up and was like, "Oh crap,
just give them a pay rise."
But who knows, right? Like maybe South 32 just bloody want the cash, need the cash.
Yeah.
But it is weird that it pops up now.
I reckon that's the best bet.
Yeah.
I reckon it's just, it's just come onto their radar. Like you said, big company, BHP, South 32. I think it's just come onto their radar and they're like, oh, there's some money we can grab, but maybe we'll find out in due course.
I think, boys, what we've learned on this potty, logical predictions aren't good for the view count. I reckon we've got to think outside the box here, boys.
Well, there's a couple of takeaways, right? Obviously, this is bloody bad for IGO. Heck, I don't know what they're going to have to pay, but it could just be a lot of legal fees and then a settlement. But it's not good news. Not something you want to be dealing with.
I think the comments about fighting the claims and everything, just the only person that wins in those things are the lawyers.
Yeah.
Didn't you say, was it Gina Reinhardt and
Angela Bennett? Yeah.
Angela Bennett, they've been fighting over royalty for over a decade, haven't they?
I think so. I think it's been a long time.
Yeah. So
there's other parties as well, but yeah.
The lawyers will be licking their lips on this one. So
yeah, the other one is if this royalty continues to apply, which who knows if it's bloody deemed to be applicable or not. Both Regis and IGO have come out saying that they don't believe it to actually be applicable because preconditions were not met. But if it is, then it's also bad for Regis because now there's a 1.5% royalty on top of the economics of trial.
Yeah, so, and I wonder if it does apply going forward, is Regis liable for the 100% of the royalty, or where's Anglo sit on this? Is that because it was vended in?
I think the royalty actually sits with IGO. With their interest exclusively, just based on my interpretation of. You can read the prospectus, but it's not a royalty where it's like you pay pro rata based on your equity interest in the project, because IGO had 100%. It was to do with accessing a database instead. So it was IGO had 100% equity interest in the licensing of that database at that point in time, and so I don't think Anglo is actually feeling the brunt of this one.
It's hard to get your head around, isn't it, considering they own 70% of the project, to think that they might not be on the hook for it, but. There'll be plenty more to come out for this. We'll happily take any calls with further information. Righto, boys. What's going on? BCI Minerals, as you said, not a company I followed too much prior to this potty, Trav, but Jesus Christ, if they're raising over $300 worth of equity, that is a substantial amount.
When's the last time you saw a greater than $300 million equity raise by a developer?
Oh, God. bloody
De Grey?
De Grey,
Oh, yeah,
De
you're
Grey,
right.
Evolution.
Yeah, I forgot about
Oh,
De Grey.
no, sorry, Evolution's a producer. Yeah, De Grey probably that'd be the only one.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
So, okay, you got me.
Limetown.
Pretty few and far between, though.
Yeah, Liontown. Yeah. All right, I forgot about him. Anyway, I thought it was a bloody big deal, but yeah, it's a you know, like it's a BCI is a bit of a niche company that you hadn't really thought of before, but they've got this salt project in Mardi. It's faced a bunch of hurdles, including capex blowouts and the likes funding challenges, and now they've got equity to hopefully, you know, get the debt piece to really wrap together. They've got all these commitment from this series of lenders to get this massive capex bill. I think it's around $1.4 billion capex total. Some of it's sunk already, and the equity is kind of, you know, the debt being firm is conditional on getting the equity in the door. It wouldn't be possible without Kerry Stokes' Roxby, and combined with Aussie Super really cornerstoning this. They've been supporters for a while. They've both chipped in by both equity and also convertible notes along the way. This gets them almost there, like technically there in terms of what the capex commitment is. But I look at the capital and I look at the sources and uses, and I couldn't help but have the thought, I wonder if they'll actually need to top up a little bit more just to have any buffer, because I looked at the uses of funds and there's only $10 million there in working capital, and I thought, geez, you want a bit more buffer than that at the end of the day.
Normally we criticise them for the reverse of that one and chucking a bit too much in that working capital. So interesting to point out.
Yeah, and with both Kerry and Roxby and Aussie Super, you know, committing to their you know, entire entitlement, it's not a big gap that has to be plugged by retail on this one.
Maybe they did a massive equity raise because then it was guaranteed to be in the West Australian newspaper.
It's funny you say this, Matty, because I
don't
saw
think
this.
they'd have to do that.
I saw on
my case in point.
Mate, I saw on LinkedIn, it was like a bloody fluff piece on this project by Channel 7, and I was like, oh, fucking hell.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh, love it. Righto, boys. JD, Resolute, come out with a late quarterly. Take us through what's going on there, big fella. Your favourite part of the world, Africa.
West Africa, yeah. These guys actually, they earned their spot on the name and shame list, but we'll let them off for now, even though that quarterly came out at 6:08 p.m. because they like to run on a bit of a London time as well, given they've got a listing there as well. They might have forgotten they've got a listing here too, given they ran their quarterly call, I think, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I was keen to dig into Resolute a bit because they're a bit of a turnaround story. I mean, if you look at the stock chart on a 5-year sort of view, it's pretty ugly. And if you hone in on that sort of 21, 22 period, that was a real sort of low point. But heaps has turned around since then. They had new management come in. They had a good little discovery, well, not so little anymore, and then they completely recapitalized the business. So I'll chuck up a chart, and you can see that they moved from net debt of 320 million in 2019 to net cash now of 14 million. So it's a decent turnaround, although you got to sort of caveat that with the point that they recapitalized the business and raised a whole load of cash within that period that I just mentioned. But now as it stands, they're trading at about 850 million market cap. So that's kind of similar to WAF, although these guys have a couple assets in 2 different countries. So the quarterly today, it came out, like I said, late last night, and the market didn't really take a liking to it today, down about 7%. The production was a miss versus consensus, so they produced about 80,000 ounces, expecting 82, and the all-in sustaining cost was in line with expectations at just under 1,500 US. So if you flick that into Aussie dollars, that's $2,250. It's a pretty high-cost operation. It's not really what you think of when you think West Africa. You think, you know, high jurisdictional risk, but actually good operations that are low cost. So if we look at the waterfall chart, this is for the whole of calendar year 23, you can see that the cash and bullion position moved down by 9 million, so 85 million at the end of the year, but they did pay back 55 in debt over that period. And that net cash position, like I said, at 14, that moved pretty positively from net debt of 31 million just a year before. So they've really been on the mend over the last year. They did tweak guidance, which is pretty disappointing for a company that comes out in the third quarter of last year with guidance for the next 3-year period, and then within a few months has to tweak it to the downside. It's, not really up to scratch, but it wasn't too massive a risk. And then you get to the point where they are now. They've got 2 operations. They're chucking at about 350,000 ounces. But like we always talk about, these companies, they're not always thinking of shareholder returns. They're thinking of where's the growth, kind of like Perseus, like where's the growth going to come from? You had this Sudanese asset in Perseus's case. In the case of Resolute, you've got this Ghanaian exploration asset, and they're saying that that's going to add in the future, they don't specify when, over 100,000 ounces per annum. So it's all pretty conceptual, and I don't really love it when the company does it because it's all a bit airy-fairy. They haven't even come out with a maiden mineral resource estimate for the exploration project. We're expecting that in the first half of this year.
I think they got a lot.
Nevertheless, I think companies.
Yeah, they got a lot of growth coming at Syama too. I think like there's two stages of expansion there from sort of, I think from FY26 onwards, that could be up to like 400,000 ounces per annum. So
even sooner, mate. Even by 2025, they're expecting that. So they're putting more capital into that this year, and they're expecting to get to 375,000 ounces in the next couple financial years. So there is growth coming from both the assets that they do have, in particular Syama and Syama North. But I mean, overall, they want to show this investors, how do they get to, 500,000 ounces per annum? And for that, they have to, really pull things out of the air, and who knows if they eventuate or, when they eventuate. But I'd say if you're, a long-term holder or a follower of the stock, you'd actually be pretty chuffed to see them just continue to shore up that balance sheet, keep improving it, and keep hammering down the costs, and getting more and more production out of the assets, and just being consistent on an operational basis, given the tumultuous sort of 5-year period that they've had. And the last point, guys, that I want to sort of raise is I was flicking through the presentation. They put out this corporate presentation today, and in one of the first few slides, something jumps out at me. They say trading at 43 cents versus average analyst target price of approximately 69 cents. Now, we all know that, these analysts, these sell-side analysts out there, they're pretty good at what they do, but the incentives are just so skewed when it comes to those price targets. So I don't know why, as a company, as a reputable company, you'd want to show what the sell side is showing in your own presentation. Just show us the substance, show us what you're actually going to produce, how the business is improving, what the balance sheet is looking like, not what the sell side actually thinks of you. And, maybe you'll win over a few more investors that way, but that's just my 2 cents worth.
Mate, your 2 cents is worth about $50, JD. No, don't you worry about that, mate. Righto, boys.
You're all too kind, mate.
Oh, she's all bloody go in the mining industry, in the mining news sector. Friggin' love it. Righto, let's rip it up. Look forward to the uranium chat tomorrow coming out. Bloody North Americans are going to love it. Bloody getting some in-mails. Righto, who do we have at the top of the show? Seamus Murphy in Anytime Exploration, along with DSI Underground, the only name you have to know in ground support. I'd like to thank the other bloody legends that give us a bit of coin. VRIFY and InvestorHub and Smack Power and Technology, McMahon Mining Title Services, KCA Site Services, Brooks Airways and K-Drill. Hoodaroo, money miners.
Hoodaroo. Hoodaroo.
The information contained in this episode of Money of Mine is of general nature only and does not take into account the objectives, financial situation or needs of any particular person. Before making any investment decision, you should consult with your financial advisor and consider how appropriate the advice is to your objectives, financial situation and needs.